Hi there, guys. Um, I wanted to come make this video. You'll have to excuse me. It's the weekend. I had to wash my hair and get it ready for the week. So here I am. But I wanted to come. I wanted to come really yesterday and make this video while things are still hot because, like I keep saying, you know, um, sometimes you kind of got to jump on stuff when it's still hot. You know what I'm saying? So that it is relevant. And you're not 5 weeks late or what have you. But this is probably the last Will and Jada thing. It's not really even a Will and Jada video. This is, as I was just sitting and just thinking about so many circumstances. In this situation and how it went on and things like that. I really try to find, especially here on my channel for my viewers and, those that watch me. Um, because actually, just a little side note, I go into the YouTube studio, and I actually every now and again I actually look at my stats, and I look at, like, because it'll show you the pretty much like the demographic, age group, and so forth of those who are watching your videos, the person's videos. And I believe that I am reaching my target audience. I believe that, and that's not to say that I wouldn't um welcome any and all, because I think that the information that I give, the life experience that I share, is good for women of all ages. But it is actually right on target. And just real, and I didn't mean to go into this, but I like talking from my age group viewpoint, which is, I'm just right there in the middle. Um, and because I think even at my age, there's stuff to learn. I think, a lot of times people think, when you get to a certain age that, well, you should know better and you've been there, you've done that, and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, sometimes. But as long as you live in this life, you are going to continue to learn, and there are things to learn, new things to learn, things to relearn. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me get on into the video. I don't want to go off too far, but I say that because I'm still learning, and I believe and know that as I continue to learn and continue to evolve, that I am able to help other women who they may not be where I am yet. I may not be where where they are yet. So at the end of the day, it's just an ever learning process, for us. But as I say, I was thinking, I was thinking about this, and one of the things that hit me, and I don't, please know that as I say this and as I speak this, I'm coming from a place of love. But in love, you still got to have your correction, and you have to, I try to be honest, in what I say. And, I try to be nice about it and everything. But at the end of the day, we're all adults. That I just, talked about the stats of the people in the age group that listen to my channel. So I think you're old enough to, you know, not, just take everything, so sensitively. And just the fact that, we gotta swallow some pills sometimes. Sometimes we gotta put on the big girl panties, and we gotta get in there and get it. And a real reality, as I get into this, a real reality, and just look at the viewpoint that I'm coming from. So at the end of the day, uh pretty much everybody at this point feels that because we saw Will laugh at the joke. And but we also, know that Jada looked at him or made she rolled her eyes, whatever. She obviously was not happy, didn't think it was funny, the whole thing. And so most people feel like that was a reaction from Jada. I certainly feel that way. Um, and so with that being said, then we have the conversations of, him, protecting black women. And now we have that whole thing going on about uh, standing up for black women, protecting black women, the whole thing. Well, first of all, I don't think that, it took it or it should take, violence, you know, to get the point across that you need to protect women. And that's really where I'm going with this because I made a video and I said that I was going to make it a series talking about things that need to change in the black community. Well, this video is going to go in that series because this is definitely something that I think needs to change in the black community. And we saw it played out at the Oscars. That is this violence toward one another in the name of protection, in the name of, you know, oh, you gonna let that nigga talk to me like that? You gonna let. And let me just get, let me just say, I get the fact that every man should protect their wife. I get that. I get the fact you should protect your sister, your mom. I mean, when men need protection, I think that is a part of what men are supposed to do. If they love you, they protect. I mean, it's just kind of comes automatic, it's just one of those things. But at the same time, I think Will's reaction was really over the top. And if you all remember the video that I first made about it, about Jada having him by the balls, is I think is, a little indicative of that because I think, and these are all these are my opinions. I think because of whatever position that Jada seems to play out in the marriage, Will seems to play out in the marriage. Now, none of us know because we're not in their lives. We can only speculate. It seems to me that Jada is a little bit more of the dominant one. That's the way I see it. And because he was, he just pretty much just reacted. He just reacted. And like I said in the other video, I really think it was because he just didn't want to hear her shit. Like she was going to get him when they got in the car, home, whatever, if he had not done something. Um, Now I don't even know, like I say, if Jada even expected that. I mean, I don't know. But and you all know, like I said, it could have been handled any other kind of, number of ways or what have you. But I think it, like I said, is very indicative of what happens a lot of times in our culture, where we put our men up to doing violence to other people and other men for our sake, and it's okay and it's fine, and it's what is expected. It's absolutely what's expected. Now, let me say again, I get it. I get it. That is what a man does. If he gonna protect me, sometimes it gets messy. I get it. I get that. you know but I think in our community is one of those things that helps shine the spotlight on us as a whole people, you know um and I think that, I mean, because, okay, let's look at it this way. uh Now here's what I heard about, now this is could be theory, but this is what I heard. Whenever and you all can correct me, put it in the comments or whatever if you have another um, interpretation of this or what you may have heard. So what I heard is that this was back a few years ago when Will and Jada, were really having that campaign about, what's going on at the Oscars, not enough black people getting awards, not enough black people being recognized, all these great black actors, all of that. I agree. It was, absolutely. And I think from what I heard, this is going to be like Chris's maybe his first time or something actually commentating the Oscars, and it was one of those things where Jada and Will were on this campaign to like boycott the Oscars, or really let your voice be made known that we as black actors are not happy with what is going on. And Chris was kind of on this thing that, man, look here, I got my chance. Look, I'm finna do my thing up here. I ain't in that with all y'all, and kind of like Paul. That my name is Paul. That's between y'all, kind of time, kind of thing, And so he wasn't in with that, and so from then on, a little bit of beef, But there's so many. There are so many. Things that I've heard, even Chris and Jada dating, Chris and Jada dating a little bit at one point, But anyway, like I say, it was some history there, is what I'm saying. And from what I understand, kind of Will and Jada, maybe more so Jada, just kind of feel like Chris takes a lot of like shots at them whenever they can, or whenever he can. And so this was like, he did it again. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah. So it wasn't just like on the spot, just whatever. This was, a little history from what I understand. But the point that I'm coming at, especially in our community, is there's a lot of condoned violence, murders, and a lot of stuff that goes on in the black communities. And a lot of the women are just quiet. A lot of the women, many times, will absolutely harbor straight murderers, and people who I mean, he robbed that bank, and you still, you got him in your house because that's your son, that's your baby daddy, that's your whatever, and we sit around in silence and don't say anything, and we know um crimes have taken place. And this, once again, this is the same thing I feel, will. And I'm not saying that Jada put him up to it, but I think it was one of those things of, you better do something. Like for real, like you better do something. And I think it was just more of a reaction on Will's part. Like I say, I don't even know if Jada really, 'cause, from what I heard, from what I hear, she's mad at him. But I think she would have been mad at him anyway, just by the way their relationship goes. But at the end of the day, my point is, I get the fact him protecting his wife. I do not still believe that he was protecting all black women. I don't get that way. But for the women, the black women who are looking at that as that was a stand up for black women, or him standing up for his wife, this black man on TV standing up for a black woman, you know, is indicative of, that's what black men should be doing and need to be doing. I absolutely agree that they need to be protecting us. However, my thing is, I don't necessarily think that it needs to be uh through violence and through, I mean, it's a place and a time for that. I absolutely get that and agree. You don't just let somebody just disrespect or hurt or whatever, the females that you love and in your family. I get it. But at the same time, I think sometimes if Black men themselves were not tearing down and degrading Black women so harshly themselves, maybe it wouldn't have to be such an extreme when it comes to the protection. That's really what I'm trying to say. Um, we know Black men all over media for decades now have been tearing down Black women, talking about the hair, talking about the lips, the nose, the skin, the parenting, the cooking, the clean. I mean, pretty much everything about a Black woman, Black men have been on an all-out campaign for a very long time and have torn that down so bad. I mean, just so bad, until now. Here we are as Black women in a space to where we really don't feel safe at all anywhere. Like, honestly and truly, if Will had not went up on that stage and slapped Chris, that probably would have been just another offended Black woman. I mean, maybe he would have apologized later on off stage, or if he really knew that he hurt her feelings or something like that. Because I don't think Chris was trying to be vindictive. I don't think Chris hates Jada or anything like that. I don't think it was anything personal. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me. Y'all might have another opinion. Let me know. you know. But um, I think if our image were not torn down by Black men from the jump and from so long now, that it seems like it would take an extreme measure for our protection to be put up on the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, we get it. Like, white men have been protecting their women in some barbaric ways. We know forever. You know what I'm saying? So but we also get and understand their history too. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a thing. But let me get to this. So, I feel like there are so many other ways, and I wrote some of this down because I'm not going to be on here long. Um, I feel like it wouldn't have to take such an extreme um, thing for Black women to be protected by Black men if it were done all the time, or if it even began to be done in sincerity, or if we, with this next generation, start teaching our boys, um, those that have them, about respecting women, about respecting your mother, respecting older women, just respect in general. You know what I'm saying? Especially for your Black women, but just in general, I think it's gone from our community, and I think it's a culprit to a lot of the stuff that we see and a lot of the stuff that is going on. But I wrote down a few things that you know that I feel like I can't even read what that is. That was a good point too, and I can't even read it. But um a few points of where I think we wouldn't have to go to such extremes if Black women were more protected on a regular basis. And one of the things that I said is that, well, the thing that I started off with was just saying that violence, perpetuating continual violence, is not protecting Black women. Like, that's like the low base level. You know what I'm saying? Of protection. Okay, it's necessary sometimes. I get it. But support, supporting Black women, supporting Black women businesses, supporting Black women on social media, support of black women is would be a beautiful way for black men to start showing protection or whatever. When people are trying to tear down what a black woman is doing, or things that black women um, find important, that black men would support that and, have our back in that. You know what I'm saying? Um, Protection as black women just being human beings, because at the end of the day, some of the things that have been spewed out of, you know, these men's mouths have absolutely got black women on the level of beast. Like seriously, like I have heard them talking about, not, or I don't do bestiality, talking about sleeping with black women. Like, I mean, and who has killed that image like that? Like, who has created that image? And no other man has created that image toward black women except black men themselves. So, a beginning of treating black women, protecting black women like they are human beings would be some protection that black women need desperately. Um, our children, black children need support. Black children need protection, especially little black girls. That's a whole nother video by itself. But our boys too, of course, they need that protection. Nobody should be able to just walk up in the black community and take our children or hurt our children. It just should not be. We shouldn't be pimping out our children. We shouldn't be giving away our children. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we're in such a desperate and horrible situation, and so many times in the in the black community, that a lot of times when it comes to the children, just don't nobody even pay attention. And if anything do happen, more than likely the victim is going to get blamed. More than likely, especially if it's a girl, she was fast, she was hot, oh, she was looking at that man anyway. Yeah, you don't see how that little girl be dressing and blah blah blah. And it's always something where the victim is always blamed in the black community. We find a reason, just like, and I'm getting off for a second, but just like going back to Chris and Will and Jada, I see women, black women, talking about he deserved that slap for back when he did the Good Hair video or the Good Hair movie. He was talking about black women's hair. He was talking about black women. I saw that documentary, and I'm just gonna be honest. I did not take that out from that. I did not take that from that. I took that we as black people have struggled with our hair. We have struggled for a long time with our hair, and we have in our community always glorified not only the light skin and everything, we have always coveted and talked about good hair. We've always done that. I mean, it's something in the past few years, especially with the natural hair movement, that we have tried to get away from, but our ancestors did that. We know our ancestors did that. Our grandmamas and big mamas and great grandmothers and all that, they always had a thing about good hair and all of that. And it's a stigma now, and we try to get away from it now, but we can't sit up here and try to act like that's not a part of our culture. It is. And it's just like, as I said, the colorism thing. We still, in the black community, have a problem with color. We still do. It's big. And it's still very relevant, especially with dark skinned black men. You know what I'm saying? Dark skinned men have a huge problem with colorism. They're not the only ones, but it's very prevalent in our community. And we can't just start at Chris Rock's movie. We can't just start there. When you all get time, I would love for you all to go and look up a movie called God, I know I ain't gonna forget now. It's a documentary. It's something about we didn't have our own comb, or um It's called A Comb of Our Own, or we didn't. It's a documentary, and I'm so sorry. It is a documentary talking about how coming from Africa and so forth. Now I don't want to give it away, but coming from Africa and coming over here to the Americas, like we didn't have no comb. Like we had to use white people little flat, skinny, comb where their hair just the comb just goes straight through their hair, you know. And our hair don't work like that. Like, like when you get to the end of my hair, you more than like you gotta comb that out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just our hair texture. It's just the way that it is. Some of it's kinky, some of it's more curly. I mean, we just have different textures. And um I'm gonna try to find that and put it in the I don't know if I can put it in the description because like I say, I'm not tech savvy yet, and I don't know a lot of stuff that I can do or can't do. But I'm gonna find the title and put it in the description of the video. Okay. But I would love for you all to go back and look at that because it talks about the ancestral issue that we have had with hair, and it has been our own people. It really has. So I mean, I'm not, Chris didn't start this with that documentary. He did not start this. Like it's been with us. But um getting back on task, protecting black women, is like I said, protecting our image, protecting who we are and what black women stand for. Like we need a whole new image beside Ghetto Gwen and Gum Poppin' LaQuisha. And forgive me, I'm not pointing at nobody. I'm just using names. I got a cousin named LaQuisha, so okay. So, but that's just the image that's out there. It really is. I mean, and so when you come to dealing with a black woman or anything that concerns a black woman, you expecting it to be ignorant and ghetto and loud and just whatever. And I mean, we know that there are a lot of people who understand that that's not all of us. We don't always act like that, but it's the men. Like if our men could stop, y'all got to forgive me, the camera moving, but my knee is doing something. Um, they have been the ones that have put that out there. Like they have put that out there, and that is a lot of times how people come at us. You know what I'm saying? Whether we're educated, whether we are, have gone to college, whether it doesn't even matter. It's just out there. And a way for Black women to be protected is to, stop disparaging Black women's image. Like, Black women there's so many good Black mothers. There are so many Black women who are in college. There are so many Black women business owners, Black women teachers, Black women doctors, Black women, and especially now. You know what I'm saying? Like now, I mean, it's like Black women are just blowing up. And I'm not saying that Black men aren't doing some stuff too, but we understand the dynamics. You know what I'm saying? Like we understand, you know, and even so, Black women are not out here disparaging Black men at the rate that Black men are disparaging Black women. And I don't think it's Black women that's out here killing and demoralizing Black men's image. They're doing that to themselves, quite honestly. So, there are other ways, I'm going to end the video. Um, I've gotten pretty much my points out. But I think if we really want to protect Black women, if Black women really want protection, and we do, I think that there are other ways besides slapping folks, killing folks, and murking folks, and all this kind of crazy stuff. And the Black women just sitting back thinking that, oh, it got to be something violent, or it got to be something extreme that you protect me. Like I said, I get that there's a time and place for that as well. I mean, somebody, talk about your mama, you may, I don't know, maybe you got punch them in the mouth or something. I don't know. I'm not condoning violence. I'm just saying, sometimes you talk about somebody's mama, you don't know what they're gonna do. But at the same time, I really truly believe that if Black women's image were protected more so and on an ongoing basis and in a much better way by Black men, then Black women wouldn't have to be so satisfied with it being done in a violent way. I mean, Black women contribute so much. Black women give so much that I truly believe. And not only that Black women give and all this so much and are good women, and I mean, because we know that. But at the same time, let's flip that, and let's also recognize the fact that even though Black men love to bring out our, the bad points, and the points that's really in every culture, and the points that can be made for a lot of women, but they stick that on Black women and they leave it there as ours. You know what I'm saying? When there are women from other cultures who disrespect their husband, there are women from other cultures who cheat, there are women from other cultures who are not good women, who are, they do all sorts of things. But as I say, you don't hear this. You don't hear, I got a real good example, and then I'm gonna cut the video off. Um, because we hear a lot of times how, you know, people, people like to bring out the bad negative points of Black women. And, it's said a lot that, women of other races and other cultures get passes when they do the same stuff, and sometimes worse than Black women, but they don't get stigma. You know what I'm saying? And I knew a guy. Um, I knew a guy. Um, we were talking. I was there. We were talking. We were talking actually for a while, for like some years. We were talking, and he was a Black guy. And overall, he was a good guy. I'm not even, I ain't got nothing bad to say about him. Um, he started tripping in the end, but whatever. But this guy had had a child by a white woman in his, younger days. This woman, he said and told me stories of how this woman was an absolute, I don't know if she crackhead, meth head, or whatever, but she was just straight on drugs, just to the extent that he actually had to take his son and raise his son himself. That's how bad it was. And from what I understand, she is still on drugs, from what I understand. But anyway, I never, and I get that his son's mom. I get that and the whole thing. But I never heard him bring out as much stuff about some of his other Black ex-girlfriends as he, in comparison to what he would say about his child's mom. Because he really didn't say a whole lot about her. He told me that. And he told me that really, though, in the instance of, like him taking his son and raising his son and all that, which is admirable. It's all of that was wonderful. And also, don't get me wrong and think that, he was dogging out Black women and dogging out, things about the Black women in his past, because that wasn't the case either. I mean, to be very honest, the guy was, and that's probably why we got along for so long. He was very intelligent, and he really did not do the degrading and tearing down of Black women and stuff like that. He was very, very impartial. He was very, very pretty balanced in a lot of things. He was pretty balanced. Matter of fact, I can say the greatest thing he taught me was to not be so biased, because there was a time when I was very, very, like, I was just all black women, just period, just black women, whatever, whatever it is, whatever, and he actually, though, uh, worked with me enough to where I listened, to where I began to see where I was a little biased. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm a little biased, and I'm being a little, so I did have to start going back and like looking at things a little bit more objectively, because, he and other men had some good points and still do. Men, I mean, it's not like men are just sitting around here just lying on every woman. I mean, come on, we I get it. But at the same time, you can't group us all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just put us all in a box. You know what I'm saying? But the comparison that I was making with him, and it just made me think about that. The comparison that I was making with him is that I heard more stories of instances that he had with black women, and kind of the stuff that they did in the relationship or whatever. Then I heard about his baby mom just being a straight head. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I mean, I guess we could look at that at different ways. Maybe he just didn't want to dog out his son's mama. Which is good and it's admirable, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing. But at the end of the day, my point for saying that is that we also, if we're going to be fair, we also have to bring out the fact that the same stuff that, are brought out about black women, how black women so horrible, they're we need to bring out the fact, and make an acknowledgement of the fact that other women in other cultures do the same type things. And then maybe it wouldn't look so much like just the whole, everything bad, everything horrible is dropped at the feet of black women. They ruin the community, they ruin the children because they raise them, they do this, they do that. The whole demise of the black community is the black woman's fault. We know that's bullshit. We absolutely know that that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And the way that other men and other cultures protect their women, although they have to maybe fight sometimes, the way that they protect their women is by protecting their women's honor, virtue, name, uh, and just protecting their women, period. In that, it makes it hard for anybody to come out who's not in that community and dog their women and think they're gonna get away with it. But black men have left the whole gate open, that anybody and everybody can come in basically and attack black women. And like I say, I don't know what Will was thinking. I don't know, but maybe that's why he felt like he had to get up and do something so crazy and extreme. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I'm certainly not taking up for him. I'm certainly not. But I'm just saying, it just, everything with us got to be so drastic, so dramatic. Like, if we create a culture where it don't have to be like that and have to be so violent and have to be so, you got to absolutely pistol whip and shoot somebody because they say something, about your mama or about, I mean, come on. We just need to make a more nurturing environment, and I think that black men are the ones that can do that and should do that, since they're the ones that, you know tore down and have been continuing to tear down the black women's image so much. So, uh that is it. I'm gonna find the name of that documentary. It's a very, very 400 years without a comb. I think that's it. It just came to me. I believe that's it. Thank you, Spirit. 400 years without a comb. But I'm gonna be certain, and I'm gonna find it, and I'm gonna put it in the description. of what that was. But you guys, have a good weekend. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hope you got what I was saying. I hope I really didn't ramble on, too much. But y'all know me. If you listen to me, y'all know me. You know who I am. Y'all know how I do. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your patience. And let me know down in the comments. What you think about having to go to such extreme measures to protect a black woman through violence or whatever, other than, you know, making a legacy, or beginning to make um, a change in how black women are treated, talked about, talked to, respected, or whatever, in that kind of stuff would not be needed. You understand what I'm saying? Or if y'all think violence is just the answer, somebody say something about your woman, pop them in the mouth. Whatever. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But you guys get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Um, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until the next video, we'll see you next time.